Welcome to the official NXT review and results video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, turn on those bells for all notifications, and make sure to follow me on social media. Instagram, your boy Chris YT, Twitter, Chris from Loring, and Snapchat, Chris Most Hated. I am at a loss of words. I really am. This is, for the first time since watching NXT, I just finished watching NXT, and I'm at a loss of words. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm at a loss of words. This felt like a takeover. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. This felt like a takeover with, Balor and Cole for the NXT Championship. I wonder why they kicked off the show. I wonder why. The best part of the show tonight, I'm not even going to lie to you, the best part of the show was the main event. Was the NXT Women's Championship match between Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley. Now, Rhea Ripley has been on this rocket strap. She's been pushed like crazy. She's been skyrocketing ever since she made her NXT debut. Her performance at War Games has been fucking phenomenal. And now she's getting this opportunity because, A, she pinned Shayna Baszler at TakeOver War Games. So obviously she's won a NXT Women's Championship match. The story behind this matchup was the fact that Shayna Baszler had a long-ass title reign. 416 days. She's been NXT Women's Champion. Impressive. Now, it was obvious coming into this NXT show tonight, it was pretty obvious that Shayna was going to possibly lose the championship and get called up to the main roster. It was inevitable for that to happen. Because, texting Jessica here, give me a second. Texting Jessica. Coming into the show, I'm here thinking to myself, if Rhea does not beat Shayna, who is going to be that one woman to beat Shayna Baszler? Because this whole entire year, as a matter of fact, ever since Shayna won the title at Evolution last year, ever since she won the title, everybody in the wrestling community has been predicting when is she going to drop the championship. Did she drop it at War Games last year? No. People were thinking she would drop it then. People were thinking that she was going to get called up to the main roster last year. Didn't happen. People were thinking, she's going to drop the championship at TakeOver Phoenix, and then she goes on to the Women's Rumble. Didn't happen. Many people would think that she would drop the championship at TakeOver New York. Didn't happen either. People were thinking back then, at WrestleMania weekend, that she will get called up to the main roster. That wasn't the case. TakeOver 25. Nope. Is Shayna going to lose the title at TakeOver 25? No. Then you fast forward to TakeOver Toronto, SummerSlam weekend. People were thinking back then, is Shayna going to drop the championship at TakeOver Toronto against Mia Yim? No. That wasn't the case. People were also, again, thinking Shayna will drop the championship, go to the main roster. So at this point, everyone's thinking, maybe Shayna will hold the championship to WrestleMania weekend in 2020. No. She didn't defend the championship at TakeOver War Games. The title wasn't defended. So the question is, when will Shayna drop the championship? People were predicting TakeOver Portland against Rhea Ripley. Why would you want to wait until TakeOver Portland when you can just call her to the main roster? Do it at the last live NXT show of 2019, because obviously next week, when we're at Christmas next week, the show will be taped next week. I heard that they taped 2 episodes of NXT. One, the one show that we saw last night was live. The one that we're getting next week is taped. It's taped. So they're going to show that tape portion of NXT next week. People are thinking, why would you wait until TakeOver Portland in February for Shayna to drop the championship when they got big plans for her on the main roster, when she gets called up in January. Maybe Shayna will be a big surprise entrant coming in the Rumble. Maybe she will be. And we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about Shayna's plans and what I think is going to happen when we get to the main event portion of this review, because Shayna and Rhea Ripley delivered a 5-star classic. They delivered, in my honest opinion, could be the best women's matchup all year. In my honest opinion. I think, in my honest opinion, after watching NXT last night and watch it again tonight, I seen it twice. One last night and then one a few minutes ago. I think Shayna and Rhea tonight, last night, delivered the best women's matchup of 2019. They surpassed Io and Candice from TakeOver Toronto. They surpassed them. They surpassed them. That's just my honest opinion. That is just my honest opinion. This show tonight, well, I keep saying tonight because I'm recording for you guys on Thursday, here today on Thursday. NXT last night, after watching it twice, this show was better than Dynamite last night. This show was 100% better than Dynamite. 100% better. Now, don't get me wrong. Dynamite was a good show last night. A really good show last night. But NXT, we're just so accustomed to what NXT does on a weekly basis, especially with the weekly shows, especially with takeovers. We're accustomed to it. We're accustomed to it. We're accustomed to it. I have no words. I have no fucking words on this main event. I have no fucking words. I know Balor and Cole, I seen their matchup. They had a fantastic matchup. And also, they had limited commercial interruptions. So technically, it was commercial free. Technically, it was commercial free. Because I wonder why they put Adam Cole and Finn Balor to kick off NXT last night. I wonder why. It's the AEW effect, folks. It's the AEW effect. Now, you can speak on AEW's half also. Why would they put the Lucha Bros against Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page to kick off Dynamite last night? People will say it's the NXT effect. The NXT effect is barely happening in AEW, but I see why they put the tag team match last night between the Lucha Bros and Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page to kick off Dynamite. I see why. They want to have that one up on NXT, but then again, NXT put Adam Cole versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship to kick off NXT last night. The AEW effect, folks, is the AEW effect. And I forgot to mention that last night on my Dynamite review. But we're going to go over everything here on this NXT episode from last night for your Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. I'm recording this right now for you guys on Thursday, December 19th, 2019. We will go over everything here and what I thought was a better show. Fantastic show. I thought this show was better than Dynamite last night. We will go over everything here on this review right here on the Reality Podcast. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm your boy Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys thought that NXT was a great show last night, hit that thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below what you guys thought of NXT last night. Also, be sure, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on those guys for all notifications. We are on the road to 200 subscribers right here on the channel. Dynamite reviews live on the channel right now. Can Jungle Boy last 10 minutes with Le Champion? Link to this video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. Also, check out Monday Night Raw review from this past Monday. This Raw made the second and third hour of TLC look good. For real, no cap. Link to Raw review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. Also, check out TLC review from this past Sunday. The Roman Reigns agenda is back, folks. And if you people are too blind or too stupid or too dumb to realize that you are the biggest idiot in the IWC, on some serious shit. Link to TLC review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you guys are following me on social media. Instagram, your boy Chris YT. Twitter, Chris from Loring, and Snapchat, Chris was hated. And like I said, folks, if you guys are enjoying the content, if you guys are visiting this channel for the very first time, and you like what you see, be sure to show your support. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on those guys for notifications. We're on the road to 200 subs right here on the channel. Let's begin NXT review. Tonight in Full Sail University, NXT kicked off with the NXT Championship match. Adam Cole defends the NXT Championship against Finn Balor. Finn Balor won a #1 contenders match last week on NXT to have this championship match against Adam Cole, baby. Now, there's no question people will say this, and I'm going to say this also. If AEW did not exist whatsoever, would Finn Balor even be in NXT? Would Finn Balor be getting a NXT Championship match on this particular episode of NXT against Adam Cole? No. No question he will not get an opportunity. I don't think Finn Balor will even be in NXT if AEW never existed. Just think about that, folks. Finn Balor back in NXT. AEW effect. Come on, folks. Puzzle everything in. Puzzle everything in. So NXT kicked off with the NXT Championship match, and I thought it was a fantastic, excellent matchup to kick off NXT. This was a great matchup. Obviously, Balor became #1 contender last week on NXT TV when he pinned, I believe he pinned Keith Lee to become the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. We all knew, and I don't care who's watching me, I don't care who's listening to me, we all knew that Finn Balor was not going to beat Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. We all knew this. Now, the matchup was fucking excellent. The matchup was great. I think this matchup would headline any takeover that you put out there. I guarantee you, you put Adam Cole and Finn Balor on a takeover main event, I guarantee you it'll be a 5-star classic. Guarantee you. It will be a 5-star classic because of who those two men are. Adam Cole, fucking, in my honest opinion, he's the fucking MVP of NXT, MVP of fucking pro wrestling. That's Chris Jericho. That's Chris Jericho. That's Cody Rhodes. But if you want to put Adam Cole as the MVP of pro wrestling in 2019, then you can do that. He has that right. He's done everything you could ever imagine that he could do in 2019. But when it comes to all pro wrestling, you got to give it to Jericho. You got to give it to Cody. But Adam Cole, he's up there. Adam Cole's up there. Finn Balor came back to NXT, I believe, just a couple months ago. I think back on the October 2nd edition of NXT, which I covered. Finn Balor, he's looked really good on his run in NXT. Do I want to see him back on the main roster? No. I think he fits like a glove in NXT. The match that Cole and Balor had was fantastic. Love this matchup. This matchup was really, really awesome. Really fucking awesome. Cole goes for the Panama Sunrise, but Finn catches Cole. Goes for the 1916. Cole escapes and hits a Yoshigoroshi on Finn for a 2 count. Cole runs the ropes and goes for the last shot, but Finn catches Cole and grounds him. Then hits the double stop. Finn hits the drop kick on Cole, goes to the top rope, but Cole catches Finn with a kick and sends him toppling out of the ring to the outside. Cole follows Finn to the outside and goes for a Panama Sunrise on Finn, but Finn catches him and drop kicks him into the barricade. Finn gets Cole back in the ring, goes for the coup de grace, but Cole avoids. Finn's knee gives away. Cole hits the last shot on Finn, getting a 2 count. I thought the match was over right there when Cole got the last shot. Cole puts down his knee pad, goes for the double gun point on Finn, and goes for another last shot. But Finn escapes, hits a double stop on Cole, then a drop kick and a coup de grace on Cole. Finn looks to go for 1960 on Cole, but Finn gets distracted by something on the top of the apron. Suddenly, and this is all of a sudden, I did not expect this to happen. Johnny Gargano appears, distracting everyone. Cole hits Finn with a low blow, then a last shot, pinning Finn Balor to win and retain the NXT Championship. I said this to Storms many, many times since Finn Balor has been in NXT. And I think this is going to happen. Fantastic matchup here. This was a great, great matchup. I did not, I'm going to say this right now, I did not expect Gargano to come back on NXT on this episode. I did not expect that to happen. This is why I love NXT so much. The surprise factor really does catch everybody off guard. This is what I love about NXT so much. And I wish that AEW in 2020, they can use that surprise factor to their advantage. I said this to Storms. I said this to everybody in the group chat that I'm in. And I still am a believer this is going to happen. I don't know what happens at TakeOver Portland. I have no idea what happens. Maybe they go with Cole and Ciampa at Portland. I don't know. I wouldn't go down that route anyways. I wouldn't go down that route. If Keith Lee, I'm going to say right now, and I know this has nothing to do with him in the NXT Championship. If I'm Triple H here, and you know for a fact that Keith Lee is going to get called up to the main roster in 2020, it's inevitable for that to happen. It's inevitable it's going to happen. I would give Keith Lee an NXT Championship match against Adam Cole at TakeOver Portland as his last match in NXT. As possibly his last match in NXT. As possibly his last match. Because we all know there's not going to be a TakeOver on January. There'll be a TakeOver in February. So, in my honest opinion, I think they're going to do Keith Lee versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship at TakeOver Portland. That's what I think is going to happen. TakeOver Tampa, WrestleMania weekend, I'm still going to believe this is going to happen because Gargano here, especially Gargano tonight on last episode, he cost Finn Balor the NXT Championship. Cole and Ciampa, Balor, and Gargano. I think we will get a fatal four-way for the NXT Championship at TakeOver Tampa. Ciampa will win back the NXT Championship, in my opinion, and my speculation, and my prediction here. We will get a fatal four-way between Gargano, Balor, Cole, and Ciampa for the NXT Championship. Ciampa will win back the NXT Championship at TakeOver Tampa. Because Ciampa has said it himself, and he said it, I believe he said this on Lillian Garcia's podcast. If Ciampa gets called up to the main roster, he's going to retire. Because the schedule for the main roster is just out of control. Ciampa has said this numerous times. The NXT schedule is so perfect for him. He gets to stay in Florida. He gets to spend time with his family. He gets to spend time with his daughter. Gets to spend time with his wife. Why would he get that away from him and go to the main roster? When, if he goes to the main roster, he knows he's not going to be used like that on the main roster. He knows he's not going to be used like that. He knows he's not. Look at all the past NXT superstars that got called up from NXT to the main roster and not being used. That's Ciampa's future. That's Ciampa's future. If you get called up to the main roster, you're not going to get used. You're not going to get used. And I feel the same thing for Gargano and Cole and everybody else that's about to get called up to the main roster. That awaits everybody else coming out of NXT. So I don't blame Ciampa for retiring once he gets called up to the main roster. I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him. You got nothing else to prove, but I would love to have Ciampa have a WrestleMania moment. From what I heard, according to the news, from what I heard, NXT will play a big factor at WrestleMania. Maybe they put that NXT Championship match and put it at WrestleMania. I wouldn't mind that. Ciampa gets his WrestleMania moment. I wouldn't mind having Balor, Gargano, Cole, and Ciampa be at WrestleMania for the NXT Championship on the main card, not on the pre-show, on the main card. Have Ciampa win the championship, fireworks and pyro go all over the place. Ciampa gets to celebrate Goldie back in his possession. Maybe they do it at Tampa. Maybe they do it at TakeOver. Or maybe they do it at WrestleMania. Maybe they do that. Because according to the news out there, from what I'm hearing, NXT could play a big factor at WrestleMania. NXT will play a presence at WrestleMania. Maybe they have an NXT Championship match at WrestleMania. Maybe you book the fatal four-way there between Balor, Gargano, Ciampa, and Cole. Maybe you do that. Give them 15, 20 minutes at WrestleMania. I guarantee you they'll steal the show. But this was a great matchup. I did not expect Gargano here to come back. I'm betting now that he's cleared. I'm betting now he's good to go. What happens to Gargano now? Does he get involved in the NXT Championship picture? To be honest with you, I have no idea. Maybe they book a triple threat, but knowing NXT and I know how Triple H operates, they are going to give us the best and biggest NXT Championship match in history. In TakeOver history. Can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong with it. I love Gargano back. He looks good. Looks good, but let's see how this whole storyline progresses now between Balor and Gargano. Let's see how this goes. So Adam Cole retains the NXT Championship in what I thought was an excellent matchup to kick off NXT. Johnny grabs a steel chair, gets in the ring, staring down Finn. Then Gargano swings away at Finn. Finn rolls out of the ring, but Gargano isn't finished. Gargano chases Finn out of the ring, hits him again, but Finn runs away into the crowd. Gargano stands on the ramp, tosses the chair aside before retreating to the back. So I'm guessing the feud between Gargano and Balor will continue, and I think this will culminate at NXT TakeOver Tampa when they are involved in the NXT Championship matchup, in what I think will be a fatal four-way between Balor, Cole, Gargano, and Ciampa. Hopefully that will happen. Let's see. We see shots of Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler and the horsewomen arriving at the arena. We get a recap from War Games when Killian Dain, Damien Priest, and Pete Dunne faced off in a triple threat match. We see that Damien Priest was injured in the match, but is apparently cleared for action and is back tonight. So we got a matchup between Damien Priest and Killian Dain. This is a great matchup. Listen, I said this now. I've been saying this since Damien Priest, his new character came out. I know he was known as Punishment Martinez, but I love this Damien Priest character. And don't get me wrong, I love Killian Dain too. I love Killian Dain, especially when he was in Sanity. Loved them. He was so underrated when he was in Sanity. This was a great matchup. Damien Priest has a great look. Killian Dain has a good look. I'm hoping that Damien Priest gets pushed in 2020. I see big things from Damien Priest in 2020. Maybe a North American Championship reign. Hopefully an NXT Championship reign, because he's that good. He's just that good. Damien Priest wins here. Priest goes to the top rope and Dain goes out of the ring. Priest gives chase, hits the tope on Dain. Priest gets Dain back in the ring, hit the choke slam on Priest for a 2 count. Dain hits a series of offense on Priest and covers it for a 2 count. Dain gets Priest in an electric chair, but Priest rolls up Dain for a 2 count. Priest goes for a powerbomb, but his midsection is too damaged. Dain hits a senton on Priest and goes for a Vader bomb on Priest, but Priest gets in the knees. He gets the knees up and counters. Priest hits the reckoning on Killian Dain and pins him for the 3 count victory. Damien Priest picks up a victory over Killian Dain in what I thought was a fantastic matchup as well. Like I said, Damien Priest has a great look. I hope they push him in 2020 towards the NXT North American title match and a championship. But you got to remember, Velveteen Dream is out of action, so maybe we get that Damien Priest Velveteen Dream matchup in 2020, which I hope so. That would be a fantastic matchup. Damien Priest and Velveteen Dream. Now I don't know when Dream will be cleared enough, but I hope at the next takeover, maybe at the next takeover in Portland, maybe we get Damien Priest and Velveteen Dream. How would you guys like that? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I think this will be a fantastic matchup between Priest and Velveteen Dream down the road. It should be fantastic, but Priest gets a victory over Killian Dain in a great, great matchup. Kushida and Cameron Grimes are both shown getting ready backstage for the match. Then we go to commercial. Back from commercial, we see that the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is returning in 2020, and the teams will be announced on the New Year's Day edition of NXT. So on January 1st, we will find out who will be in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And I believe that the finals will possibly take place at TakeOver Portland. The finals of that tournament will take place at Portland. The winner will get possibly Undisputed Era at TakeOver Tampa WrestleMania weekend for the NXT Tag Team title. They do this every single year. And I love the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I love it. But then again, you got to sit there and think about it. Yeah, NXT has a great, not so great, but the tag team division is decent. Now, if you was to ask me, Chris, who has the better tag team division, AEW or NXT? I gotta give it to AEW. I gotta give it to AEW. AEW's tag team division is so deep in depth, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. But we'll go over the women when we get to the main event and who I think has the better women's division. But then again, tag team division, you got to give it to AEW. Main event scene, it's evened out between AEW and NXT. It's evened out. But I will say this, though. The main event scene in AEW and NXT is a lot more deeper than it is on Raw and SmackDown. It's a lot deeper. I'm not going to lie to you. We get Cameron Grimes and Kushida. This match is good. I'm not going to lie. This was a really good matchup here. I was thinking, watching this matchup, I was here thinking, oh, Kushida hasn't been featured in many, many weeks. But then again, Cameron Grimes has been featured on NXT a lot lately over the past couple of weeks. Maybe Kushida gets a victory, but then again, I wouldn't mind it if Grimes gets the victory because he's been featured on NXT more. And on top of that, Kushida was hurt with a wrist injury when he fought Walter. But this match was good. This match was really, really good. Listen, Kushida's great. Cameron Grimes, I'm starting to get warmed up on Cameron Grimes. The more I want to see him, the more great he is. I want to see more of Cameron Grimes. I want to see a lot more of him. He's really, really good. And he really got my attention during the NXT breakout tournament. He really got my attention. He really did. He really got my attention there. Kushida hits a release German suplex on Grimes, and Grimes hits a German of his own, bridging into a pin for a 2 count. Grimes whips Kushida into ropes, and Kushida hits a kick on Grimes, sending him to the outside. Kushida hits a dive onto Grimes on the outside. Both men are down, but get back to the ring at the count of 8. Grimes catches Kushida with a boot to the face, and Kushida goes for the hoverboard lock again, but Grimes fights him off. Kushida comes back and hits a Hurricanrana from the top onto Grimes into a roller for a 2 count. Grimes goes for the cave-in, but Kushida reverses it and goes for the hoverboard lock. Grimes escapes, goes for the cave-in again, connects this time and covering Kushida for the 3 count. So Grimes wins. He gets the victory over Kushida. I think this is Kushida's first loss on NXT, if I'm not mistaken. I have no idea. But this match is good. I love the chemistry that Grimes and Kushida had. They had great chemistry. Fantastic chemistry. If you were to give this match maybe another 5 to 10 minutes, it would have been a 5-star classic. You give those men another 5 to 10 minutes, it would have been a great matchup. But Grimes wins. I hope they push him also in 2020. Same thing goes for Kushida. Kushida has a bright future in NXT as well as Cameron Grimes. And I see now in NXT, especially with Triple H, he's building up more faith in Cameron Grimes because you got to use him. He was featured in the NXT Breakout Tournament. He's now on NXT. He's having a pretty good showing. Not going to say a lot of you. Grimes gets a victory over Kushida here on NXT TV. We see Rhea Ripley warming up for a match backstage and a video package hyping up Io Shirai, who is in action, against Santana Garrett. Coming up next on NXT. We get Io Shirai versus Santana Garrett. The match is good. This match is good. I want to see... Listen, I mean, one thing about Io Shirai, she's one of the best women's competitors in all of pro wrestling. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. She's top 10. In my honest opinion, top 10. If Io Shirai is not the MVP for the women in 2019, there's a problem. There's a problem. I remember during the year, I think it was June to be exact. I think it was June when she fought Shayna at that steel cage match for the NXT Women's title. The best thing that Io has done in her entire career is turn heel. That's the best thing she's done in her entire career. Turn heel. She joined the dark side, loved it. Ever since then, I loved Io ever since. Especially with her match against Candice at fucking TakeOver Toronto. Fantastic matchup. Io versus Santana Garrett. The match was good, but the match lasted almost like, what? I think like 5 to 6 minutes. Io wins. Garrett locks in the Chancery lock on Shirai, but Shirai fights to the ropes, forcing a break. Garrett gets dropped by Shirai into the ropes. Shirai goes for the double knees again on Garrett and connects, then hits a moonsault on Garrett, getting the 3-count victory. Io Shirai wins. Maybe we get Io, maybe somewhere down the road in 2020. Maybe we get Io versus Rhea Ripley. Now you got to think about it. You got to sit there and think about it. Now that Shayna is going to the main roster now, I mean, most likely she's going to go to the main roster. It's only the inevitable here. Who is going to be the first woman to compete against Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship? You got to think about Io Shirai. You got to think about Io. Now, does Rhea get a long title reign? Maybe. We hope so, but let's see what happens here. Now, I believe they're going to build up Io more. I think they're going to push her because there's not enough women heels that's featured on NXT. The only women heel outside of Bianca Belair, it's Io Shirai. It's Io Shirai. I think the next woman that's going to contend over the NXT Women's Championship, it's got to be Io. It's got to be Io. Can you imagine Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai at TakeOver Portland for the NXT Women's title? Take my bread. Take my bread. I mean, not my bread, but take my bread. Take my breads. So Io wins over Santana Garrett. We get another promo of the World Collide tournament, which should be exciting, though. I cannot wait for the World Collide tournament in January. I cannot wait. We get Pete Dunne versus Travis Banks. This match was great. This match was fantastic. Listen, I love Pete Dunne. I love Pete Dunne. Listen, I'm not watching NXT UK that much, but I think I should. I think I should start watching NXT UK that often. I think I should. Travis Banks, he's a fucking stud. He's a stud, bro. A fucking stud. Pete Dunne gets the victory here with the bitter end over Travis Banks. Banks goes for the slide of heaven, but Dunne takes him out of the sky with a forearm strike to Banks' face. Dunne hits an X-plex on Banks, pinning him for a 2-count. Banks gets to the top rope, but Dunne stops him with a forearm smash. Banks hits a sunset flip on Dunne, but Dunne hits a step-up enziguri on Banks. Dunne goes for the bitter end, but Banks reverses and goes for a slice of heaven again. Dunne catches Banks and sends him face first into the mat. Banks fights back, hits a huge slam on Dunne, getting a very close 2-count. Very close 2-count. Banks goes for the double stomp on Dunne again, but Dunne catches him, hits a powerbomb. Dunne goes for the second rope. Goes to the second rope, but Banks follows. Dunne hits a super X-plex on Banks, kicks Banks in the head, hits the bitter end, and gets the 3-count victory over Travis Banks. The match was great. I love both men. Pete Dunne, if Pete Dunne wants to take a loss here, it wouldn't hurt him. Pete Dunne at this point is bulletproof in NXT. Pete Dunne takes a fucking pinfall victory, it doesn't hurt him because he's still that good. He's still good. And on top of that, if you people think about it, Pete Dunne has had the longest reigning championship reign in the last, 20 years? I believe in the last 20 years. I believe so. So, let's see what happens with Pete Dunne here. I think Pete Dunne will have a good 2020. Hopefully, he gets an NXT title match or an NXT North American title match. Let's see what happens here. Because you got to sit there thinking about who's going to be next in line to face Roderick Strong for the NXT North American title. I wouldn't mind Pete Dunne. Maybe they save that for TakeOver Portland or TakeOver Tampa. Maybe they do that. Can't wait. Can't wait. Dakota Kai is interviewed backstage about Mia Yim's attack. Kai talks about how she beat Yim despite how Yim took her out last week. She will continue to beat every woman until she is champion. Let's see. Shayna Baszler is shown warming up for a main event match, which is up next, but first a commercial break. Back for commercial break, we see that Roderick Strong has issued an open challenge for his North American Championship next week. Also, Keith Lee and Leo Rush will team up to take on Damien Priest and Tony Nese next week. That should be good. That should be good. Finally, we get to the main event here. Main event. NXT Women's Championship match between Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley. I'm going to sit here and be brutally honest with you. This was, in my honest opinion, the best women's match in the entire year. Now, people will say Io and Candice had the best women's match back at TakeOver Toronto. That match was fantastic. They went about 20 minutes. Fantastic matchup. I think Shayna and Rhea on this episode of NXT last night, they took the cake. They did. They took the cake. These women fought for literally almost 20 minutes. They fought for almost 20 minutes last night. Many people were thinking, and I said this on the beginning of this video, many people were thinking, oh, Shayna will lose the title at TakeOver Phoenix. Didn't happen. TakeOver New York. Didn't happen. TakeOver 25. Didn't happen. The steel cage match against Io Shirai. Didn't happen. Which led to Io turning heel on Candice. Didn't happen. TakeOver Toronto. Didn't happen. TakeOver, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. That is about it. This matchup was just a classic. This was a classic. This was Rhea Ripley's best women's match that she's ever produced. This was Shayna's also one of her best matches. One of her best matches on NXT. People, this was, in my opinion, this was Shayna Baszler's last NXT matchup. Eventually, she'll get called up. And in my honest opinion, she'll be in the Women's Royal Rumble match in January. She'll be in that matchup. We'll talk about that after we announce the winner of this matchup. The main point of this matchup was the fact that Rhea was in a 3-on-1 situation. She had Shayna, she had Marina Shafir, and she had Jessamine Duke. Both those women showed up. Shafir and Duke, they showed up in this match. They got completely obliterated by Ripley. The last 10 minutes of this matchup was just utter fucking amazing. The last 10 minutes of this matchup was just fantastic. Ripley goes for the cannonball dive to Ripley, but on the outside, but Baszler dodged and locked in a coup for the clutch. Ripley broke out of the lock, but both women are injured. Baszler gets a chair, and all three women are back in the ring. Ripley goes for the chair, but Baszler gets it instead, hits the DDT of Ripley onto the chair, getting a very close 2 count. Baszler locks in a coup for the clutch, but Ripley escapes. Baszler locks in again, but Ripley fights and tries to get to the bottom rope. Baszler pulls her back. Ripley fights again for the ropes, before Baszler pulls her back again. Ripley looks like she might pass out, and the ref grabs her arm, tries to drop it, but Ripley grabs the ref's shirt and eventually breaks the hold. That whole entire 5-minute sequence. That whole 5-minute sequence made that match go. Really made that match go. Ripley kicks away at Baszler, locks in the prism on Shayna. I thought Shayna was gonna tap out here. Baszler frees herself, hits a knee straight to Ripley's face. Baszler sets Ripley on the top rope and follows her. Ripley hits a headbutt on Baszler, then hits an avalanche riptile from the top rope. She hit an avalanche riptile from the top rope on Shayna, gets the 3 count, and wins the NXT Women's Championship. Ripley pins Baszler, becomes the new NXT Women's Champion. This match was fantastic. Absolutely loved this match. This match hit second gear. This felt like a takeover matchup. The last 10 minutes of this matchup felt like a takeover. Same thing with Cole. Cole and Balor in the beginning of the show, that match felt like a takeover. But this matchup, this main event tonight felt like a takeover. It had that takeover vibe in this main event. Fantastic matchup. Rhea Ripley wins the NXT Women's Championship in what many people thought was going to happen. In my honest opinion, Ripley did the unthinkable. She did the unthinkable. She beat Shayna Baszler. Now, I love how commentary said that Shayna Baszler had a 416-day reign as NXT Women's Champion dating back to Evolution last year. She held the NXT Women's Championship for 415 days. 416, actually. I apologize. So Ripley wins the title. What is next for Shayna Baszler? This is what I'm thinking. This is when my creative juices were flowing after watching this matchup. Baszler has competed in her last match in NXT. She's going to get called up to the main roster. She'll be in the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. I am making a prediction right now. And if this happens, you can bookmark this video. We're not even in January yet. And this is what I got in my head here. There's news going about that Ronda Rousey will possibly make her return in 2020. We don't know when. People are predicting the Rumble. People are predicting after WrestleMania in Tampa. People are predicting that. If Shayna Baszler is in the Women's Royal Rumble matchup and Ronda Rousey is not in the Rumble, Shayna will be the surprise entrant at number 30. She wins the Rumble. And she'll face Becky for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. If Ronda is in the Rumble and Baszler is not in the Rumble, Ronda will win the Rumble. She'll face Becky for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. But knowing Vince and knowing this company, knowing the main roster, WWE will book a fatal four-way at WrestleMania between Shayna, Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte. Because obviously, when it comes to a big women's matchup, you gotta put Charlotte in it. That's what I am fearing. If they book a big matchup between Becky and Ronda or Becky and Shayna, they're going to put Ronda in it and make it either a triple threat or a fatal four-way, including all four women. That's what you have to think. You got to use your brain here. Now, let's say, for example, they don't use Ronda or use Shayna. No, or Charlotte. And Shayna is the woman that wins the Rumble. I don't mind Shayna and Becky for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. I don't mind it. Now, would I put a women's main event at WrestleMania? No. Unless if it means something. Unless if it's that important. Then you put it in the main event at WrestleMania. Only then you put it in the main event at WrestleMania. I think if Shayna wins the Rumble, I think if Shayna is in the Rumble, she'll win it. But if Ronda's in it, she'll win it. But knowing Vince and knowing the main roster, they're probably going to book a fatal four-way between Shayna, Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky. Now, here's the thing. Where does Shayna go? What brand does she go to? Does she go to Raw or does she go to SmackDown? Now, we don't know if Ronda is still on Raw. If Ronda is still on Raw, I'm putting Shayna on SmackDown. I'm putting Shayna Baszler on SmackDown. And she'll probably take the SmackDown Women's Championship from Bayley. Maybe. We don't know. I have no idea. But if I'm Fox, I think maybe we find out that Ronda is on SmackDown because they didn't really announce it, because there were news out there a couple of months ago before the draft that Fox wanted Ronda Rousey. So I think if that happens, Ronda will probably move to SmackDown and you put Shayna on Monday Night Raw. Shayna wins the Rumble. She faces Becky at WrestleMania 1-on-1 for the Raw Women's Championship. Maybe we get that. I have no idea. Maybe we get that. Maybe we do. But sound off in the comment section what you guys think of that. Does Shayna win the Rumble or does she not win the Rumble? Does she win the Rumble or does she not win the Rumble? You guys let me know down below in the comments section. Fantastic show tonight of NXT, man. Fantastic episode. And that, folks, is the reality of things right here on the Reality Podcast. This is your official NXT review right here for your Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoy NXT tonight, hit that like button, leave a comment down below what you guys thought of NXT tonight. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support. Hit that subscribe button down below, turn on those guys for notifications. AEW Dynamite reviews live on the channel right now, as well as Raw review and TLC review. Link to all these videos will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you are following me on social media. Instagram at your boy Chris YT, Twitter, Chris from Loring, and Snapchat, Chris Most Hated. And like I said, folks, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to show your support. Hit that subscribe button down below, turn on those guys for notifications. I will see you guys maybe on Sunday. I'm supposed to be going to Jersey tomorrow, so I'm not going to review SmackDown for you guys tomorrow. There'll be no podcast Saturday. If I come back home Saturday night, you guys will get an episode of the podcast on Sunday. And there's a bunch of news out there. I'm hearing about fucking Sting still wanting Taker at WrestleMania. A whole bunch of shit going on. I will report all the news right here, guys, for the podcast and stuff on Sunday. That's if I'm back home on Saturday night. If I'm not back home on Saturday and I come back home Sunday, no podcast. I'll see you guys on Monday night for Raw review. Till then, I'm Chris. If you like, comment, subscribe, share the video, all over social media. I'll see you guys on either Sunday for a episode of the podcast or Monday for a review. Till then, I'm Chris. Talk to you guys later.